Last year, I created this video, and still today is my second most viewed video. In that video, I discussed a 6-step plan on how to create a profitable reselling business. It was really an overview of how to start a reselling business and take it to a profitable level. In today's video, I'd like to expand a little bit more into some of the concepts of those videos. Consider it a part 2 to creating a profitable reselling business. And I really want to focus today on why reselling is so hard. Because you might be in the middle of that 6-step plan and realize you are in for more than what you bargained for. I want to start by acknowledging and saying that reselling is hard. It can be difficult. It takes a crazy amount of skills that you have to learn in a very short period of time. However, it takes years to build on those skills. The grind of reselling every day is why a lot of resellers end up quitting. It took me several years to go from making just hundreds a week to thousands a week on a consistent basis. Reselling is hard, but it doesn't have to be. This isn't going to be a video that tells you it's just as simple as sourcing, listing, and then shipping it out. Yes, those are the basics of reselling, and if you do those things, you are on the right track. However, there's so much that goes on within those processes behind the scenes that can really make or break whether you are successful or whether you end up ultimately quitting. When I felt like my reselling business was the most difficult that it could possibly be, and I did consider quitting, here are 3 things that I feel like I had to overcome and what it took to feel confident. Number 1 is it's possible that you are building your foundation on sand. You simply cannot build a plan and a foundation for your business on things that are ever evolving and always changing. If there's one thing I've learned about reselling, it's that things change on a weekly and sometimes a daily basis. It can be really hard to keep up with what you should be selling, the strategies that you should be using, and also being able to pivot quick enough or tell yourself that you need to stop all of the changes and just remain where you're at. As an example, some foundational rules that I had for myself are no longer what I can use today. For instance, a few years ago, you would have never have caught me in the tops section. If you guys have been here for a while, drop in the comments below. Do you remember when I used to skip the women's top section altogether because I wasn't finding profitable items? I said there is nothing in that section that is worth me going through it, and I just skipped it. That worked for me at that time. That was the right decision for that time. However, fast forward many years until today, and now it is one of my top grossing categories. You would not catch me skipping that section today. And that is because things do change. Whatever plans that you want to make for your business, whatever goals you want to set, make sure that they account for the fact that there will be changes. Because the last thing any of us want to do is put a plan in place, run with it for a year, only to realize that it's not working anymore. Here are 4 things that you can do right now to account for future changes. Number 1, research weekly. Try not to rely on thrift hauls here online because by the time that you're seeing a thrift haul that might have been filmed like 2 weeks ago, and trends could literally have changed since then. There are so many things like holidays, events, celebrity stuff that really can impact what is selling and what isn't selling. And so Y2K tops are doing really great right now, but they might tank in 6 months. Number 2, study those trends. Figure out if things like Y2K are still on the upward trajectory of search or if they are trending downwards. You can do this pretty easily by using a tool that I love called Google Trends. Number 3 is to evaluate your sourcing routes every single month or at the very least quarterly. So what places are you frequently going to, and are they producing what you think they're producing? Oftentimes when I evaluate my sourcing route, I'll notice that these thrift stores that I used to go to every single Tuesday and used to be picking up an average of 70 items for that day, now I'm picking up 30. Is it really worth me continuing to go to these places, or do I need to try something new? Not only that, but keeping an eye on your cost of goods at those places can be really important because again, they're going to be the difference of making your net profit goal or not. And number 4 would be get a plan for summer slowdown. Do you have a plan in place to increase sales when sales typically take a nosedive? To summarize all of these things, I think it all just comes down to being proactive, recognizing that there will be changes and putting things in place within your plan to make sure that you can account for those and know what they are in the first place. Unlike most businesses, when it comes to reselling, because it does change so much, if you remain steady and do the same thing all the time, with no additional proactiveness on accounting for changes, it's very likely that your business is not going to stay steady with you. It's actually going to decrease. And so it's very, very important that you don't build your goals on things that are ever evolving and ever changing. Now, you might be asking yourself, okay, Kaylee, if things are ever evolving and ever changing, how in the world can I ever make a steady goal? Besides doing those 4 things to be proactive, something that I like to do is really focus on my averages on a monthly basis. And I like to base my goals off of those averages. And so as my numbers begin to change with the seasons, so too do my goals. For instance, maybe back in January, my average sale price was $40. But let's say as we go into March, my average sale price starts to drop to $35. That difference has to come from somewhere. And so instead of setting a goal at the beginning of the year with the numbers at the beginning of the year, I need to be tracking every single month and evolving my goals with my current numbers. It might mean that I need to list more or decrease my cost of goods. But the only way to really know that is if we have a plan to actually track those numbers and take action. Number 2 of things most sellers have to overcome when they feel kind of stagnant is that you might just need to refocus. When I first started reselling, I was focusing all of my efforts and my time in all of the wrong places. Even today, I find myself getting very distracted and having to refocus back to what's really important. There are so many videos out there that are going to pull you in 100 different directions. And it's human nature. It's easy to get inspired. It's easy to want to try something new. Change is a good thing and we have to evolve with it. However, sometimes when we are seeing all of these different ideas, we are constantly changing everything. And so we don't know what's really working. Or instead of focusing on things that actually make us money, we're off doing things that we think are fun. And it's not really a fun topic to talk about because who wants to have fun more than they want to work? Me. But if we don't actually put the work into the things that are going to make us money, our business does suffer. So what makes you money in your business? Those are the things that you want to prioritize above everything else. And it doesn't mean that there isn't room for projects or there isn't room for fun or trying out new things. It just means that it takes precedent over everything else so that you can ensure that your business remains profitable. Ask yourself this question. Am I doing things that make me money or am I doing things that make other people money? Make sure you do what works for you. What might make somebody else money might not be what works for your business. This is probably the biggest mistake that I see resellers make at the very beginning. They're trying to copy something someone else is doing and not really considering if it actually works for their own situation and what kind of items they have available to them. Do what works for you and what is going to make you the most money and prioritize that over everything else. And number 3 is that there's only one thing that is greater than motivation, and that is discipline. You might be thinking, aren't motivation and discipline like the same thing? They're actually very, very different. Motivation means that you are inspired to do something. It really focuses on whether you feel like doing it at the moment. Whereas discipline means no matter how I feel, I'm doing the same thing consistently day in and day out. That means no matter if I'm sick, no matter if there is a crazy snowstorm, no matter if it is the worst day of my life, the things that make me money are happening no matter what. And that doesn't mean that you have to necessarily work through those times, but you need to have a plan in place so that listings are going active, things are getting shipped out, making sure that it happens every single day without fail, no matter what. A lot of people believe that you're just born with discipline. I believe that discipline can be learned and you can coach yourself into it. So if you're currently lacking discipline and you're saying to yourself, I just don't have the motivation, and that's why I don't have discipline. There are definitely things that you can do to work your way up to being disciplined. Something I would suggest is if you are lacking discipline, number one, try to focus on building discipline, not building motivation. Try really, really hard not to focus on feelings and just how do I get this done? One of the best things I ever did to create ridiculous discipline is I eliminated my distractions. So if there was anything around me that was causing me to do things that were not money making, I eliminated those. I created an environment where stuff could get done. And I switched what I was watching. Instead of watching thrift hauls, instead of watching how-to reselling videos, I instead focused my attention on watching things about discipline, about time management, about getting more done in a shorter amount of time. And those videos had nothing to do with reselling. They really inspired me and taught me how to be disciplined. The content they're watching right now might be a huge reason that you can't remain disciplined because you're simply getting distracted and missing the point, which is getting work done and doing things that move the needle and benefit you and your business. If you're someone that is really struggling with discipline, you just can't get motivated no matter what you do to even start the process of building habits of discipline. One place you can start that I've seen work for a ton of people, not just in the reseller community, but really anybody that is lacking discipline and motivation, and that is time blocking. You guys can look up this concept on your own time, but it really focuses on not having a super strict schedule and saying, I've got to get this done between this time and this time. It is, hey, this is the time that I have. I'm going to work as much as I can within this time block on one thing. For you, that might mean from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., this time is dedicated to photographing. It doesn't matter how many things I get photographed as long as I spend that hour doing what I said I was going to do. And doing this and creating that habit is what can build discipline. Once you get really good at time blocking and it feels good, you can transition from time blocking to a new, more disciplined goal, which would be from 8 to 9. I know that I can photograph 30 items, and that is what I'm going to do. Then from there, you move to from 8 to 9, because I'm more efficient and really focusing, I can actually photograph 35 items. Whatever that looks like for you, those numbers might be different. But the point is, we are getting better and better every single time that we try something. If you need to start at time blocking, do it. Start somewhere. Although I am really disciplined with reselling, I am not as disciplined at home. I actually use time blocking for cleaning. I'll just set a 10-minute timer and say, however much I get done within this 10 minutes is how much I get done. I'm building a disciplined habit for myself that hopefully in the future is going to result in me getting more done when it comes to cleaning. Wherever you are at in whatever process, all we should focus on is getting a little bit better every single day. There are also time blocking apps that might be really beneficial to you guys. If you are not a timer person and you'd rather see kind of like a visual of where your time is going, can help you schedule it, can help you plan it, and visually see where your time blocks go. Highly recommend looking it up. Again, if you're somebody that this is resonating with and you're saying, yeah, I need that, I lack motivation, I lack discipline, and this is the first place that I want to start. All right, you guys, so those are 3 things that I had to overcome in my business when I felt like things were getting really, really tough and what I learned to overcome them. If you guys have any strategies for developing discipline and how you took yourself from here over to here, drop them down in the comments below and let's help each other out. If you guys like this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe down below. And if you hit that notification bell, you'll be notified every single time I post these videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Want to grow your online business but have doubts about how to get there? We built Reseller's Edge for sellers just like you. Reseller's Edge is an online mentorship group that myself and 3 other coaches created to help sellers in the reseller community grow their business with proven strategies that work. Inside the group, we share our knowledge that we learned while growing our own businesses from 0 to 6 figures. No matter what area of your business you need help in, we have got you covered with hundreds of educational videos and calls. Topics range from sourcing to listing to strategies to bolos to timing and efficiencies. And the business side of reselling with a huge focus on net profit. what you're actually taking home. So whether you're just trying to maximize your side hustle or you want to take your business to the next level, we are here to help you reach your goals. Check out resellersedgeuniversity.com today and start growing your reselling empire.